All right, for more on this, I'm joined by the senior editor from the Washington Examiner, Kelly Jane Torrance. Kelly, great to have you back. We heard just a snippet from that exclusive Reuters interview, and he goes on to say that he believes it's the B team, which includes the National Security Advisor John Bolton and the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, that could be looking for war with Iran. What do you think the Trump administration is trying to accomplish here with the sanctions? And of course, not too long ago, the U.S. blacklisted the IRGC. It's been doing a number of things to put pressure on Iran.
Yeah, it's strange for him to throw shade by calling them the B team. This is a guy actually who, about a month ago, actually resigned his position over Instagram. And it seemed to be, it was a bit of he was being a bit of a drama queen, trying to get Rouhani to like him more. It was a very bizarre thing, but he does bring up an interesting point, though, about what the Trump administration is trying to accomplish, as you say. They say that they want Iran to change its behavior. I don't think this regime can change its behavior, and I don't think most people in the administration think it can either. This regime can't survive any other way. It's part of the constitution of Iran to actually export the revolution. The regime survives partly by having scapegoats abroad. I don't think it can survive anywhere. I think a lot of people in the administration think so too, but it doesn't want war. It doesn't. But it can't say, hey, we actually are trying to get rid of this regime, because everybody hears words regime change and they think of Iraq, which that's not what they're looking for here. So I think they are being a little disingenuous publicly. What they are trying to do is, I think they are trying to destroy this regime and make it impossible for it to survive. And then, there's a lot of organized opposition groups inside the country and outside the country that really are ready to take over. And, the NCRI is one, for example. They have a plan that would have elections within a few months. So the administration does not want war, but he is right that they don't believe that Iran can change its behavior. And I think we've seen that in its response to the U.S. actions.
He also went on to say in this interview that President Trump believes putting pressure, bullying will bring us to the negotiating table so that he can make his ideal deal, he says, that he has in mind. He says he doesn't know what that is, but it won't be possible to negotiate a better deal than the one that they had a few years ago. And of course, bearing all of this in mind, that Zarif was also a key negotiator of the Iran nuclear deal. So what do you think, speculating here, what do you think that the Trump administration is trying to achieve, in the sense that Iran has made it pretty clear that they're not going to budge on this?
Well, and I think that's true. And could they get a worse deal, really, than the last one? That deal led eventually to Iran getting a nuclear weapon. It had, of course, the famous sunset clauses. Eventually, over years, all of the restrictions in the deal were going to disappear. So it really wasn't that strong of a deal in the first place. And I think a lot of people in the administration think so. If there were to be another deal, and again, I'm skeptical not only that Iran would come back to the negotiating table, but that there's even a point, given they're not going to stop their foreign adventurism. This is something that the administration would like. The administration would like, if there is to be a deal, a comprehensive one, not one just on nuclear weapons. Of course, we don't want Iran to get the nuclear weapon, but that's not the worst thing they do. The worst thing they do right now is oppressing their own people and exporting terrorism throughout the region and even beyond. So they would want something a lot more broad than just a nuclear deal. But, this regime is not going to stop exporting terrorism. This regime is not going to stop oppressing its own people. So we are at a bit of a standstill in that sense.
Kelly Jane Torrance with the Washington Examiner. Great to have you back. Really
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Kilmany. It was great.